Mauritius Travel Guide. An islander once told Mark Twain that Mauritius was made first and then heaven, and heaven was copied after Mauritius. Its miles of palm-fringed sandy beaches, almost entirely encircled by coral reefs, offer sanctuary for those who want to spend days lounging on the beach. The crystal-clear waters are perfect for diving, snorkeling, swimming, and kayaking, and that's just the beginning. What makes Mauritius different is that it has so much to offer beyond the beach. Whether it's skydiving out of a plane, hiking through the mountains and national parks, or soaking up the culture, this is truly a destination with something for everyone. The island's Dutch, French and British legacy is reflected in colonial mansions and botanical gardens, while hospitable locals of African, Indian and Chinese heritage give the island an authentic feel, with colorful markets and temples, fusion cuisine, and the sashaying sega. Top 10 things to do. 10. Savor the island's delicious cuisine. An island with so many different cultures can only offer extraordinary culinary richness. The dishes are rather spicy but very tasty and suitable for foreign guests, most of the time. Street food is found everywhere, from street corners to markets or shopping malls: dal puris, chili cakes, samosas, dumplings, biryani, or fried noodles. Food festivals are also held throughout the year, such as the Chinatown Culinary Festival, which focuses on Chinese Mauritian cuisine, and the Port Louis Bread Festival, among others. 9. Explore Mauritius' historical heritage. With its rich history, Mauritius abounds with vestiges of its different colonial eras. In the capital city Port Louis, several buildings are of interest to tourists, like the Government House, built in 1738, facing the harbour, the splendid Port Louis Theatre, one of the first to be built in the Southern Hemisphere, the Central Post Office, all in stone, next to the harbour, the building of the Supreme Court, and next to it, the ancient prison. Also in Port Louis, there is the Pravasi Ghat, which saw the landing of the first Indian indentured labourers in the 19th century, and which forms parts of the UNESCO World Heritage List. The southeast of the island is also home to a concentration of historical remains, especially from the time of the Dutch who landed at Vieux Grand Port in the 17th century. There, you will discover the Frederick Hendrick Museum and the ancillary ruins. In Mahiburg, the Naval Museum should also be added to your list. 8. Taste sugar, rum and tea. Sugar and tea have been two of the most flourishing industries in Mauritius for a long time, and still have a privileged place in the country today, even if these sectors are no longer considered as pillars of the Mauritian economy, which is tourism now. The plantation of sugar cane, introduced by the Dutch, has greatly decreased during the recent decades, the same for tea. Yet, these two products are still very popular among locals as well as tourists. Rum, produced from sugarcane juice or molasses, now also forms part of the island's flagship products. The tea route, in the southern part of the island, will immerse you in the history of this delicious beverage through several sites. You will visit the tea plantations, the factory and museums. 7. Visit the Seven-Colored Earth in Chamarel. A key attraction of Mauritius is the Seven-Colored Earth located in the heights of Chamarel. An unexpected site formed by a geological phenomenon that gave to the Earth a palette of 7 colors. Nearby, you will be amazed by the view of the Chamarel waterfall from the viewpoint. If you're lucky, you will see monkeys or the elegant Mauritian tropic bird. Chamarel is one of the places that reflect the authenticity of Mauritius. It is a quiet small village located on high ground. Take a walk, visit the small church of St. Anne, meet small coffee producers from the village, and try one of the local restaurants that offer typical Mauritian cuisine. 6. Take a stroll in the botanical garden. Pamplemousse's Botanical Garden, or Sasiwuzega Ramjulam Botanical Garden, is one of the most visited sites in Mauritius, and the oldest botanical garden in the Southern Hemisphere. Created under the management of Maille de Labadonne by the king's intendant, Pierre Poivre, more than 300 years ago, the garden houses an extraordinary flora with a myriad of native and endemic plants. Animals have also taken up residence there: turtles, deer, and birds of all species. For nature lovers, Pamplemousse's garden is the ideal place to stroll with a family or your partner along the paths bordered with greenery. You might get a chance to see a talipot tree blooming. It only happens every 30 to 80 years, before the tree dies. The famous ponds with giant water lilies are also worth a visit, the perfect place to take some souvenir photos. Take the time to make a small expedition in the village of Pamplemousses after your visit to the garden, and see the oldest church on the island still standing, St. Francis of Assisi, with its unique architecture in Mauritius. 5. Learn to dance Sega. In Mauritius, the Sega reflects a whole culture that vibrates to the sound of music. One cannot resist its frenetic rhythm produced by the locally made traditional instruments. Sega dancers move in cadence, dressed in beautiful colorful skirts, accompanied by their partners also wearing typical costumes. More than only local traditional music, Sega has today the status of the cultural heritage of UNESCO. Originally sung and danced by slaves, it is now part of Mauritian life and heritage and continues to echo in the hearts of people thanks to the triangle, the maravan, the ravan and the djembe, the typical instruments, sometimes modernized by some artists. T. Frere, Serge Lebrassa and Luc Legris are among the pioneers of Sega in Mauritius. The lyrics, written in Creole, are always very colorful and touch the soul as they express life, heartaches, uprooting, and love. It is a must, you have to learn to dance Sega during your stay. 4. Go diving and / or kitesurfing. Mauritius is an island surrounded by warm and clear waters, and practicing water sports is a must. Most hotels in Mauritius offer very accessible activities such as pedalo, kayak, stand-up paddle, and glass-bottom boat. A lot of operators will also cater for more specific outings such as a catamaran outing during which you can see dolphins or big game fishing. For the more daring, there is the submarine ride, the undersea walk, the underwater scooter and the parasailing that will make you get up in the air, just before falling back into the lagoon. Mauritius is also renowned worldwide for its diving and kitesurfing spots by both professionals and amateurs. There are various types of diving activities for sea lovers of all levels. The marine parks of Blue Bay and Balaclava are to be seen by snorkeling enthusiasts, and those who practice free or bottle diving will be delighted to discover all the intriguing spots around the island. You will easily find recognized and certified diving centers in some hotels and in the coastal regions. Kite surfers will choose the lagoons of the southwest and southeast. 3. Relax on the island's idyllic beaches. Mauritius is surrounded by beautiful white sandy beaches and cliffs that offer, together with the Blue Lagoon, a dreamy scene that varies according to the seasons and the time of the day. The coastal landscapes also change according to the region, they are nothing alike. In the north, more touristic, the calm and sheltered lagoons call for relaxation and layback, with a pleasant temperature all the time. In the wild south, the southwest wind blowing more or less strongly all year round, makes the waves dance endlessly. The east features a long stretch of beautiful sandy beaches, but it is also the windiest part of the island, especially in winter. One of the most popular beaches, Belle-Mer, is also one of the longest beaches on the island. Île-aux-Cerfs, an isle set in the lagoon a few minutes by boat from the coast, is one of the most visited sites by tourists. Finally, the west, with its warm and dry climate, is more popular for water activities such as kitesurfing, surfing or deep-sea fishing. 2. Tour Port Louis, Mauritius' vibrant capital city. A visit to Port Louis, the capital of Mauritius, is a must when you stay on the island. The noted French governor, Mahe de Labourdonnais, constructed the city in the year 1735. Port Louis has conserved many historic and colonial buildings throughout the years. One of them is a fortification named Fort Adelaide built by the British in 1835. In the city centre, there are a number of French-styled buildings, which enhance the charm of Port Louis. You can tour the city and see some wonderful French colonial buildings, such as the Government House and the Municipal Theatre. Other main tourist attractions in Port Louis include the Cowden waterfront, the Central Market, the 18th-century police barracks and the Mauritian Chinatown. While strolling the city streets you will even come across the Anglican and Catholic cathedrals, the main city mosque and the Natural History Museum, where you can get a glimpse of the cultural heritage of the island. 1. Be charmed by the people, the heart of Mauritian hospitality. As soon as you set foot on Mauritian land, one thing will strike you, the people. With their spontaneous smile, you will instantly feel welcome. Here, it is these differences that unite people and make their strength. All the communities live in harmony by nurturing their own culture and heritage and sharing them with visiting guests. If you want to understand and discover Mauritius, it is essential to mingle with its inhabitants. Partygoers will be able to meet locals in nightclubs, especially during weekends when nightlife is more active. Spontaneity, Hospitality and sharing are what you will bring back from your foray into authentic Mauritius. Thank you for watching.